Hello everyone, with the Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Wednesday evening, October 1, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you all like this video. I'd really appreciate it if you all get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the weather's been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Taking a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center's 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook that just came out at 7:19 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:19 p.m. Jamaica time, we can see that we're still watching Hurricane Imelda that's about to affect Bermuda. And now to the east of the Caribbean, we have a brand new code yellow, something that has a chance of becoming the next tropical depression or storm of the season. And if we take a look at the infrared, can't really make out that code yellow right now. It has nothing to do with this tropical wave to the east of the Caribbean. It could have something to do with the moisture right here in association with the intertropical convergent zone. It could also have something to do with this tropical wave right here off the coast of Africa. The Hurricane Center will put an X on it later on, so we know exactly what's going to become the next named entity. And we can see Hurricane Imelda right here about to start affecting portions of Bermuda with some amount of thunderstorm activity. If we look back at what the Hurricane Center is stating regarding this entity right here to the east of the Caribbean, they've stated a tropical wave is expected to move off the coast of Africa over the next day or two. So it's definitely the system across Africa for sure. Thereafter, this wave is forecast to interact with another disturbance in the eastern tropical Atlantic, and some slow development of the combined feature is possible as the system moves westward to west-northwestward at 15 to 20 miles per hour. And with that, they've given the area a 0% chance of cyclone formation within the next 48 hours and a 20% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. And if we actually take a look at what the Euro and the GFS supercomputer models are showing for the time period for 6Z on Wednesday, October 8th, so that's about 1 a.m. on Wednesday, October 8th, so almost close to the end of the next 7 days. This is where the Euro has the system, the tropical wave. We see the moisture associated with it, even although we don't see any crazy isobars or contour lines around any center of circulation, no L's. That represents a low pressure area. Definitely showing what looks like a very strong tropical wave right here to the east of the Caribbean by that time. The GFS, as usual, is a bit stronger. We can see deeper moisture, even with some dark greens, yellows, oranges, red, and we see some isobars, and we also see a red L that represents the center of circulation. So very interesting, and you can clearly see that both systems, well, both maps have the system in the same spot. So we definitely have agreement regarding what could happen. This is why the Hurricane Center has highlighted it on their tropical weather outlook. Taking a look at the next name on the list, we know that we just had Humberto, we just had Imelda. The next name on the list is Jerry. So let's see if we can actually get Jerry out of this one. Regarding the latest here on Hurricane Imelda, we can see all of the clouds quickly pushing towards the east to affect Bermuda right here. Now starting to get in on the outer bands of the system. They're going to be getting raked over the next 24 hours for sure. It's moving a bit quickly, so it should definitely be out of there by this time tomorrow. I'm sure recording time, it should be on the western edge of the system in general, having just gotten battered for sure with some amount of heavy rainfall and strong winds. As you can see here, the latest here from the Hurricane Center is stating that Imelda is packing 100 mile per hour winds. I know that systems that pack anywhere from 96 to 110 mile per hour winds are classified as category 2 hurricanes, So it's a category 2 system right now. As you can see, the tropical storm force wind field is huge, as represented by the gold color. So they're definitely going to be getting in on some strong winds, and you know that can definitely cause tree branches to fall, trees to fall, a lot of power outages, whatever the case may be. And the hurricane force winds in the Browns are small, but we can clearly see that it could make landfall. So they're definitely going to be getting on the hurricane impacts as well, for sure. As of right now, it is moving towards the east-northeast at 24 miles per hour. That's a good thing. The quicker the better. We don't want it to be sitting over there for a long period. So as you can see, east-northeast movement, then towards the northeast, definitely downgrading back to a tropical storm by Saturday morning. And we see the cone of uncertainty sends it out to sea to the northeast across the northern portions of the North Atlantic, maintaining that tropical storm status. Then more than likely, after Monday, it should possibly become post-tropical. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that we have a tropical wave right here to the east of the Caribbean. We can also see another tropical wave right here across the Cabo Verde Islands. Both of these are being steered from east to west, all courtesy of this ridge of high pressure to the north. And we can make out the symbol associated with Hurricane Imelda right there. And if we take a look at the visible, we can see the spinning associated with Hurricane Imelda for sure, as it quickly pushes off towards the east-northeast towards Bermuda. We can also see the clouds associated with that tropical wave right here to the east of the Caribbean. Another tropical wave right here affecting, well, the waters to the south of the Cabo Verde Islands for sure. And we know that these entities are being steered from east to west, all courtesy of that ridge of high pressure to the north. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Wednesday, October 1, 2025. It was stated that rainfall could have been in the forecast for parts of some southern and eastern parishes on Wednesday morning, also affecting sections of some eastern, northern, and western parishes on Wednesday afternoon. And yes, we did indeed get on some isolated early morning rainfall across sections of some southern and eastern parishes, but by the time the sun came up, all of that was out of here. But what we definitely saw for sure that was worthy of being posted was the rainfall that was taking place, especially across sections of some northern and western parishes, even although we got some rainfall in the east as well, because a post was made on our social media platform highlighting this. But you know, we have to highlight the specific areas. So you know, northern parishes, we're talking about those parishes like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. While eastern parishes, you know, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, and St. Andrew. Western parishes, you know, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening at around 1:45 p.m., the visible and infrared close-up satellite imagery were posted right here on our Twitter page with the Jamaica, as well as on our Instagram page with the Jamaica, on our TikTok page with the Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we can see the clouds that definitely brought some overcast skies, if not some isolated thunder showers, if not some scattered thunder showers. It's a section of the east, the north, and the western end of the island as well. And we can see all of the sparkling yellow dots, if not the sparkling white dots, that we know represent the lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes for sure. And we can see it all even better on the visible right here, even leading into the late afternoon to evening hours. We saw that we definitely had some clouds, bringing some overcast skies, if not some rainfall to the east. A section of Kingston, St. Andrew, section of Portland into St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, section of St. Elizabeth, Manchester definitely gotten at some of the action. Some of the clouds even blew into sections of Hanover and Westmoreland for sure. And we can see the thunderstorms right here, the infrared confirming all of that. And we can also see the upper level clouds being steered from east to west by that upper level wind shear. I mean, look at all of the thunderstorms that took place, especially across section of St. Anne, section of St. Catherine, Clarendon gotten on some of the thunderstorms as well. So too, sections of Westmoreland, Hanover, even sections of St. Mary, St. Andrew definitely gotten on some of the thunderstorm activity for sure. And we can see all of that even better on the Jamaican Doppler radar imagery, confirming where we had that rainfall, all of these greens into the yellows into the oranges, that represents that light to moderate to even some slightly heavy rainfall, especially across sections of some central and western parishes, with the brunt of the activity on the north coast for the most part. And if we take a look at the live camera here from C Jamaica's YouTube channel, this is showing the Flatbridge area at around 3:44 p.m. today. And as you can see, they were definitely getting some moderate to heavy rainfall. That didn't deter anyone from, crossing the bridge, the famous flat bridge at all. People in their vehicles going about their business at that time. But the rainfall was definitely heavy for sure, but not heavy enough to be causing the river to change color at all. Rio Cobra definitely chilling at that time. I'm pretty sure that if this heavy rainfall was falling upstream, then it would have been a very different story. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams all for you all to view for free. So subscribe today to this channel so that you don't miss out. Taking a look at the total accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map does indeed paint quite the picture of where we had that rainfall today, especially across sections of some eastern, northern and western parishes, with sections of some south central parishes getting on some of the action as well. And if we take a look at some of the comments that came in from some of our followers today, it definitely confirms what the weather was like in their area. We have Active 481 posting 4 hours ago stating that his area in Clarendon was hot. We have Livingston Letman Jr. stating same thing here in Mobe. High ceiling overcast due to thunderstorm with cloudy conditions. I can hear thunder, so it's close by. We even had a picture that came in here from Marcia Freeman. Thank you for the picture showing the cloudy conditions in your area. And this looks like, is this a pawpaw tree if I'm not mistaken? Definitely some decent cloudy skies. I wonder what parish this was. We also have Marcia Freeman stating thunder and rain. Christiana Manchester, almost 4 hours of rain. Thank you, Marcia, for confirming. We also have Naiki Bent stating raining in St. Elizabeth. Then she also posted heavy thunder in southeast St. Elizabeth. Thanks for confirming. Angelique Francis stating rain right now and thunder in Westmoreland. Latoya Taylor stating getting overcast skies, no rain. I wonder what parish that is. Even on our Instagram page, we had at least one comment coming in here from one Ryan__ stating got rain in Hanover. Thank you for confirming that as well. Even on our TikTok page, we had at least 2 comments coming in here. We have Shaniska stating it's raining in Kingston. No. We have Franco stating right now I'm Mobile, cloudy condition. Rain not reach yet, but it I go fall for sure. I can hear thunder. Thank you for confirming. Alright, so we're about to reload the very latest still image from the Weather News website, the latest Jamaican Doppler radar image, the latest Cuban Doppler radar image, the latest Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar imagery, and the latest Cayman radar imagery. We want to see exactly what's taking place right now. What's taking place right now? Alright, so the latest Doppler radar imagery right here. It shows, is this up to date? I don't think so. No, it hasn't reloaded as yet. I don't know what's going on. Doesn't seem like it wants to reload for me. But clearly, the Cuban Doppler radar looks like it glitched out today at around 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3 a.m. Jamaica time. But it was showing that early morning rainfall that we spoke about across the far eastern end of the island, just to confirm that we did indeed get on some early morning rainfall across far eastern St. Thomas for sure. We saw the greens into the yellows. They represent some moderate to some slightly heavy rainfall. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like the Jamaican Doppler radar wants to reload for me. I don't know what's going on here. Really wanted to see the latest still image here from the Met Service says Doppler radar, but moving on, the Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar showing some rainfall across portions of far southeastern Cuba. You also see some isolated showers right here to the north of St. Thomas, to the north of St. Mary, to the east of St. Thomas right here. Regarding the Cayman radar though, we're seeing some isolated light to moderate rainfall across sections of central Cuba, some rainfall to the southwest of the Cayman Islands, some hit or miss isolated showers to the southeast of the Cayman Islands as well. We also see some rain bands that took place across sections of Trelawney into coastal St. James as well. Regarding what's taking place right now, the live camera here from See Jamaica's YouTube channel. This is showing what's happening right now in Little London, Westmoreland. A bit of traffic here and there. Ooh, we have a JUTC right here. We have people in their vehicles going about their business. Nothing to do with bad weather taking place right now, and that should be the order of the evening into the night. Alright, so regarding the latest still image now from the Weather News website. So the Jamaican Doppler radar wasn't loading, but I saw the rainfall that the Cayman radar was showing at the end of it across section of Trelawney into coastal St. James right in here. So it's definitely in line with what we're seeing here on the latest still imagery. The latest still imagery is 0015 UTC, which is actually 715. As a matter of fact, I'm sure if I reload it right here, it's gonna go right up to the 725 if I'm not mistaken. There we go. It says 725 is out now. 0025 UTC. And we're actually seeing some thunderstorms right here across coastal St. James. I'm sure you're seeing the lightning out to sea right now, Ryan, for sure. You're in Hanover. I'm sure you're looking over to the St. James side or the Mobay side. You're seeing the thunderstorms out there to see. There could definitely be some rainfall right now, especially near the airport or across the airport as we speak. Regarding what's taking place in terms of the temperatures right now, we can say we're at 27 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on a Thursday, temperature should dip down to about 25 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18th on Thursday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Thursday, and we see Jamaica right here embedded in some grays and some slight yellows. That represents average to at least 1 degree Celsius above normal temperatures. I know the average temperature for the month of October across Jamaica is around 89 degrees Fahrenheit, and when that's converted to degrees Celsius that we use here in Jamaica, that's around 31.6 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 31.6 to 32.6 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Thursday, as you can see here by the thermometer. And unfortunately, we have some maintenance outage advisories here from my JPS online Twitter page that we have to highlight. I know that we have to highlight this because we know that when we have power outages somewhere across the island, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, please let them know that a power outage is coming their way on Thursday, October 2, 2025. We're referring to Turner, to Moores, as well as Rock River, Simmons, White Marl, and Suttons in Clarendon from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Hindstown, Beechertown in St. Mary from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Bethany to Halifax Road in Manchester from 9:15 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Davis Mountain in St. Thomas from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. So if tomorrow is going to be a bit too hot for you, it stays here: seek shade when outside. Eat fresh, try eating cold foods such as salads and fruits. Rest, make sure you get enough sleep and rest if you're feeling tired. Soak, take a cool shower or bath to help you cool down. And I cannot stress enough the importance of staying hydrated throughout the day. Drink lots of water even if you're not thirsty, and put away those sugar drinks and drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. That's the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the whites within those reds. And we can see the dry air, especially off the coast of Africa into the Cabo Verde Islands. We know that the dry air is responsible for keeping the atmosphere stable, making it harder for it to rain. And what we're liking that we're seeing is the abundance of moist air in the blues across the southern main development region, the central to the western main development region, the southwestern Atlantic into the Gulf and the Caribbean and the waters in and around Central America. And that's what we like to see. We like to see the moist air because we like when the clouds are over us to bring us the rainfall, to cool our temperatures down and to keep water in our pipes. Regarding the Saharan dust forecast for the next 3 days though, so we're heading into October 2, October 3, and October 4. And as you can see, Jamaica should be right here in the clear. Not much in the way of Saharan dust at all these days, which explains why things are getting active with that code yellow across the main development region. We can see even the main development region, that Saharan dust that we saw at the beginning of the run, dwindling out and thinning out. So that definitely won't be making it into the Caribbean at all, and we're grateful because we know that the Saharan dust can definitely cause hazy skies, not to mention trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses in some persons. So we're grateful that this is the forecast for the next 3 days. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see that Imelda is still churning up the ocean to the north of the Bahamas, to the east of the United States. All of these dark blues into the purples, into the pinks, into the burgundies, into the oranges, that represents anywhere from 2 all the way up to 9 or more meter wave heights for sure. And we can see across the Caribbean, it's the light shades of blue to dark shades of blue, so anywhere from 0.5 meter wave height to 1 meter wave height. And that's because of the easterly, if not east-southeasterly kind of flow, averaging anywhere from 5 to 10 knots. While in and around where we have Imelda, look at the wind, some strong winds, averaging anywhere from 20 all the way up to the hurricane force for sure. that represents that category 2 status. So this is where it should be, just to the east of Bermuda by 1 on Thursday. But regarding Jamaica's wave forecast for tomorrow, to the north of Portland, we have 0.4 of a meter wave height expected. To the south of St. Thomas, 0.6 of a meter wave height. To the north of St. Anne, 0.3 of a meter wave height. To the south of Clarendon, 0.5 of a meter wave height. To the north of Hanover, 0.2 of a meter wave height expected. To the south of Westmoreland, 0.3 of a meter wave height expected. And that is because of the winds that are expected across the island tomorrow. We see kind of coming in from the east-southeast on the eastern side, averaging about 9 knots right here to the east of St. Thomas, to the south of Manchester up to 9 knots as well. And we also see where the air is expected to pile up across sections of some central and western parishes. That's where we have the least amount of winds. That's where we have the blues. That's where we could have some of these low-level clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper-level cumulonimbus clouds. And the upper level wind shear for tomorrow is coming in from the northeast. So if we actually get some thunderstorms tomorrow, we could see a thing like this. So the thunderstorms across the central and western parishes, cloud tops being sheared off from northeast to southwest, definitely favoring more of the clouds across sections of some southern parishes for sure. Very interesting day tomorrow. And if we take a look at the actual rainfall forecast maps now, we actually saw some rain bands surrounding the island out to sea in the morning, but can't really pinpoint where exactly we'll get the rainfall. My bet is on the eastern parishes, maybe some isolated shores in the morning, but there's definitely a high signal for rainfall across sections of mainly central and western parishes. Even although portions of the east are shaded, we know that it's usually the central and western parishes, including Kingston and St. Andrew. But let's work with what the Euro and the GFS models are both showing. Rainfall in the blues across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. And this is valid for 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time. So look out for that afternoon rainfall if you are in Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, section of Western St. Thomas, section of St. Andrew, maybe Kingston, section of Central to Northern St. Catherine, section of Northern Clarendon, section of Manchester into St. Elizabeth, especially St. Elizabeth, where you see the dark blues into the greens. That represents a high signal for rainfall for sure. And rainfall definitely expected for portions of Westmoreland as well. So look out for that, especially considering that both the Euro and the GFS models are showing a signal for rainfall on Thursday. So make sure you bring your umbrella if you're going out. And even the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps here from the Euro and the GFS are in agreement that it should be raining somewhere in Jamaica within the next 24 hours. Both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 3Z on Friday, October 3. And we know that represents all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Thursday. And we can see Jamaica shaded in the greens, into the yellows, into the oranges. That represents a total of up to maybe 0.42 of an inch of rainfall. While the GFS going up to at least 0.75 of an inch of rainfall, maybe up to 1 inch. It could be more than that, it could be less than that. So take these forecasts with a grain of salt. And whatever happens, we'll definitely take it because we're in the month of September. And in Manchester, whose bar graph is being shown right here, well, we're not in the month of September anymore. Sorry, we're in October now. So we're in the wettest month of the year. So no longer September, it's October now, October 1. As you can see here, in October in Manchester, we usually receive around 139 millimeters of rainfall this month. That's the wettest month of the year. That's about 5.5 inches of rainfall. While in Trelawney, whose bar graph is being shown right here, we usually receive 182 millimeters of rainfall this month. That's about the same as 7.2 inches of rainfall. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the month of October or for the entire year, you can visit nomadseason.com, and that website is showing that information. Taking a look at what's expected over the next 7 days. We're going to be looking at what the Euro and the GFS are showing for the next 168 hours, just like what the U.S. National Hurricane Center would do. And we're going to be keeping our eyes focused on the timestamp right here at the top. And we're going to be comparing the Euro with the GFS. So keep your eyes focused right here on Jamaica. We're going to be looking for the moisture there. And also keep your eyes focused for the moisture in the greens, yellows, and oranges, as well as the red. That represents inches of rainfall. So we just looked at Thursday's forecast. Now it is time to look at what's expected on Friday. And as you can see here, 12Z on Friday, which is actually 7 a.m., shows some rainfall to the north of us and to the south of us on the Euro. Then on Friday afternoon, Got that rainfall across eastern, central, and especially southwestern parishes on the Euro. Interesting. What does the GFS show? On a Friday morning, not really much of anything on the GFS across Jamaica. Then on Friday afternoon, look at that rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. What do we see on Saturday morning? On Saturday morning, we're seeing some moisture to the south of us across the northeastern end as well. Then on Saturday afternoon, rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. What does the GFS show? Saturday morning, rainfall to the northwest of us. Saturday afternoon, rainfall across mainly central and western parishes. What do we see on Sunday morning? On Sunday morning, we're seeing rainfall across the far eastern end, the water source southwest. Then on Sunday afternoon, we're seeing rainfall mainly across sections of some northern and western parishes. What do we see on the GFS for Sunday morning and afternoon? In the morning, nothing at all. The afternoon, however, we're seeing rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. Interesting. What do we see on Monday morning on the Euro? Not really seeing much of anything. Monday afternoon on the Euro, rainfall across central and western parishes. What do we see on the GFS? Monday morning, nothing. Monday afternoon, rainfall across central and western parishes as well. What do we see on Tuesday morning? On the Euro, rainfall to the north of us, rainfall across the far eastern end. Then on Tuesday afternoon, it looks like rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. And we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Wednesday, October 8th. We see moisture surrounding the island, some of it across sections of some southern and western parishes. We're also starting to see that tropical wave coming in from the main development region. Very interesting. What does the GFS show? On the GFS, Tuesday morning, not really much of anything. We do see some moisture to the north of us though. Then on Tuesday afternoon, we're seeing rainfall across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. And we're just going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours as well. So this is also valid for Wednesday, October 8th. We're seeing some isolated showers across the eastern and central parishes. And we're also seeing that system that could become the next name on the list, which is Jerry. Definitely formidable on the GFS, even more so than on the Euro. And regarding what's expected across the next 7 days in terms of the accumulated precipitation, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are showing other rainfall that we can see from now up until Wednesday, October 8th. And we see the dark reds into the purples and the pinks that represent anywhere from 2 all the way up to 5 inches of rainfall, especially across the waters to the north of the Caribbean, into the Bahamas. Some of that rainfall total into portions of Hispaniola and central to southeastern Cuba. So too sections of the Central America area into South America area. Definitely going to be getting on those rainfall totals. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS modes are in agreement with that for the most part, especially across the South America into Central America region, the Bahamas region, and the Cuba region. Not necessarily the Hispaniola region though, but we see other areas shaded in the yellows into the oranges and the reds that represents up to 1 inch of rainfall or less. But regarding Jamaica's rainfall totals for the next 7 days, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Wednesday, October 8th. And we see Jamaica shaded from the eastern end to the western end, the greys into the yellows into the oranges. That represents anywhere from 15 millimeters of rainfall all the way up to at least maybe 50 millimeters of rainfall, especially across the northwest. GFS going up into the same amount, about showing that mainly across the western end, especially in and around the cockpit country, spilling into sections of Westmoreland and Hanover and St. Elizabeth. We'll see it actually plays out, and whatever happens, I will definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. Alright, so regarding what's taking place across the rest of the Caribbean, not really much. We do see some moisture pushing through, especially to the south of Jamaica. We see the tropical wave right here to the east of the Caribbean. And regarding the Doppler radar imagery down there near Puerto Rico, what's taking place down there? Not really seeing much of anything across the U.S. Virgin Islands. We do see some moisture across northern Puerto Rico though, some moderate to some slightly heavy rainfall pushing out to sea. We also see some isolated showers in and around the Leeward Island. And if we load these images from earlier today, we saw where we had some rainfall across northwestern Puerto Rico for sure. Regarding the Barbados radar, zooming out a bit, you can definitely make out some moisture just to the east of the island, to the east of Guadeloupe, some of that rainfall to the southeast of Dominica. We also see some rainfall to the east of Martinique. Not really seeing much of anything in and around St. Vincent and the Grenada or Trinidad and Tobago right now, but we do see some moisture to the north of Barbados. Regarding the wide view of Doppler radar images, we can see some rainfall across western as well as southern Florida, some rainfall across portions of Cuba as well, so to Colombia. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are in agreement that it should be raining where we have the greens into the yellows into the oranges, and the reds represents up to 1 inch of rainfall or less. For portions of the Leeward Islands, say anywhere to the north of Guadeloupe, so Antigua and Barbuda, Anguilla, sections of maybe St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, section of Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Cuba, the Bahamas, more so the northern Bahamas, Florida, section of the Yucatan, Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, sections of Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, section of central, well, south central to western Venezuela for sure. And we clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS modes are in agreement with that forecast. Regarding what's taking place across the western Pacific, well, the eastern Pacific first of all, we're still watching Tropical Storm Octave, and to the east of that we have a code red, something that has a high chance of development within the next 7 days. We can see Tropical Storm Octave right here spinning away. To the east of that we have that massive clouds associated with a tropical wave that could acquire the next name on the list, and we know that the next name after Octave is Priscilla, so let's see if we get that to form. But regarding Octave, it is now packing 65 mph winds. I know that systems that pack 65 mph winds are classified as tropical storms, anywhere from 39 to 73 mph winds. Tropical storm status for sure, medium range tropical storm at that. It is now moving towards the northwest at 8 mph very slowly, and we see that it's expected to maintain that tropical storm status all the way up to Monday of next week. Regarding what's taking place on the Indian Ocean side of things as well as the Western Pacific side of things, the code yellow that we've been watching yesterday, just to the west of India, has now been upgraded to a code orange, so it now has a medium chance of development. Now we have a tropical cyclone to the southeast of India that's about to push inland and to the east of the Philippines. My goodness, they've just been getting hammered all year. We have a brand new tropical storm right here to the east of the Philippines. And if we take a look at the close-up of the first tropical cyclone here to the southeast of India, we can see the clouds, the showers and thunderstorms associated with it, definitely already pushing into the coastal areas of India. As of right now, it is packing 35 knot winds. I know that system is at pack anywhere from 34 to 64 knot winds are classified as tropical storms. So it's a low end tropical storm right now, as you can see right here. Sure, it's going to be causing a lot of flooding into India. We know how vulnerable they are. As you can see here, it's expected to maintain the tropical storm status all the way up to landfall. Then as it goes inland, as usual, gonna be decreasing in intensity, 25 knots, 15 knots for sure. It all makes sense because it doesn't have the fuel of the warm water of the Indian Ocean. Regarding the tropical storm right here, it doesn't have a name yet, so it is still Tropical Storm 27W. By tomorrow, I'm sure there's gonna be a name attached to this system. It's right here to the east of the Philippines. You can see the clouds right here. Don't be surprised if it becomes a super typhoon over the next 7 days. This side of the world is known for producing this kind of system. We see the track here that the Joint Typhoon Warning Center is stating that it should take a west-northwest kind of track, if not a northwest kind of track, eventually making it into similar areas that were just affected last week by another system. Maybe northern Vietnam, maybe southwestern China right in here. Goodness. And the Philippines again, well, it was the northern Philippines the other day. Now it's the mainland of the Philippines right here, and we see the intensity going up the more it pushes off towards the west-northwest, up to it's 35 knots right now. So low end tropical storm, just like the one in the Indian Ocean, should be increasing 45, 55, 60, getting even up to hurricane status for sure. Very interesting. If you have friends or relatives who live or work in China, please get in touch with them from now. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.